Yeah.
This call is being recorded.
Chris, is it all a go?
Yes, we're good.
Perfect. Can someone remind me today's date? Is it October 7th?
8th.
8th. All right. October 8th, 2015. WIKISPEED demo video. I'll kick off. In the last week, I did receive the wide tire and wheel prototypes and worked with William Dean Newing. Sent him the details he needed, and he had the tires mounted onto the wheels and balanced and valve stems installed. So we can experiment with those tires and wheels tonight. In the last week, I created CAD of a bolt-together chassis gusset that lets us replace welds on the chassis with gussets to bolt in. It's version 2. We've had multiple versions before, version 1A, 1B, 1C, and this version 2 has been uploaded to Big Blue Saw for a quotation to find out if it's less expensive, in the hopes that that would then be used in Texas to assemble the chassis there. The advantage of the bolt-together chassis is people without welding experience or without weld access are able to produce a stable, strong vehicle. That's the design goal. In the last week, I worked with a marketing intern and William Dean Newing, and a lady in my neighborhood to go through everyone who'd signed WIKISPEED team member forms in past, and folks who had emailed with interest in WIKISPEED to create a campaign monitor list. Campaign monitor is a tool for saying, are you interested? Are you pumped? Here's what we're doing lately. Now I'd need to then write or have someone help me write or write for me the updates of here's what we've been doing lately. But the opportunity to have folks be updated, especially folks who've been interested in past but aren't sure what we're up to now, could be cool. So campaign monitor list was created and augmented. There's more places to check for addresses, so the list could grow. But right now, gosh, it's over 3,000 people that have signed interest, emailed interest before. It might be much bigger than that. I just remember when it crossed 3,000. What else in the last week? I know that's just a teeny itty bitty piece, but that's what I can remember. Oh, I did work with a construction group on installing heat pumps upstairs above the shop to create a functional classroom space for classes to partner with Scrum Inc. And Scrum Inc. has updated all of their class calendar items to say classes taught in Seattle are being taught at a WIKISPEED microfactory, and people have an opportunity to volunteer after the Scrum class and use Scrum in hardware to prototype our cars, if they'd like to. And thus the class space, the heat pump, and also the heat pump in the shop below, making it more of a year-round facility and allowing composites year-round. Next week, I hope to finish drilling the A-pillar for the windshield test frame and test attach that to the car. I hope to test fit the wider wheels and tires and start on the assembly of the rear V31 suspension on chassis number 8. That's my wish. I might even try plugging in the 3D scanner now that Michael Hasse has Windows installed on the 3D scanning server. If I can, that will finally get updated CAD to Tommaso for the beautiful exterior CAD that he'd been drafting. I'm not aware of any blocking issues right now. As far as I know, I'm ready to rock. Retrospective for me, I'd say is a solid 5. I think I could have been much cooler, and I think I could have collaborated better. But still, I made headway, despite, well, not really despite anything, but I made headway, so that was good. And for the team, a 10. I think we've got a chance at really having a lower cost, more user maintainable, faster to upgrade, lower cost to upgrade product than anything that has ever been in the automotive space before. And I love that the team is all doing the parts they know to make it come true. Retrospective, I aim to take photos of the backlog tonight and upload them so folks can see the sticky note backlog, because I'm so behind in Carica, it's hilarious. I'm like 2 years behind in Carica. So I figure I'll at least take pictures of what I have been able to update, which is sticky notes in the shop, and email them to the team list. It's not perfect, but it's a stopgap. It's something. In the last week, I did also work with a vendor to receive an updated estimate on building the Scrum tool that I thought might be perfect for WIKISPEED. Their estimate was $4,800. Now, I don't have $4,800 to throw at app development, even if it's a game-changing perfect app. But so folks know, that's an estimate. And if people want to crowdsource the funds, great. Better yet, if we develop it ourselves. And that's the cash value we're up against from, in my opinion, a known quantity development studio. Portal Integrators is their name. I'll mute myself and cram my mouth with food with my beautiful daughter and wife, but I'll be listening to Standup. Who would like to go next?
I guess I will go since I don't hear Lauren chiming in yet. I'm sorry. I also worked on some CAD for a bolt together version of the chassis. It's a slightly different version than you're working on right now. Actually, maybe more than slightly different version. But I would pull that up as a demo. Actually, sorry, I think I have it on my phone. I didn't get this ready ahead of time, which will screw with the recording, and I don't know if this is going to work. Better, warmer. So I think you can at least see the.
We can kind of see it.
Yeah, since it's colored, at least you can maybe see what the idea is. So it's angle plates, like angle aluminum, that would be bolted to the chassis. I don't have any reason to think that it's been validated for engineering or anything like that, but that was my main constraint when I was designing it, was to try to not interfere with any modules I at least know about. And how they would mount to the interface. Okay. Other than that, let's see. So mostly, I've done a lot of research this week. So the last couple of days have been watching every YouTube video possible on what I think some of the next steps might be after we get done getting the chassis together, and whatever that's available on YouTube for the SGT-01, and trying to find the most recent stuff, but also some historical things. So there's been a lot of good information there. I spent a little bit of time researching the NHTSA's requirements for VIN numbers, how you get approval to, I don't know if we already have this, we may actually, but approval to, what would you say, to create VIN numbers.
We do.
Okay.
That was done in 2006.
What's the organization you have to? SAE? I didn't actually write that part down. I don't remember now.
Yeah. The SAE puts it together.
They give you the approval to do it.
It's been a bunch of years now that I'm sure I'm forgetting. I should probably create a demo video on how it worked.
I found a document I can upload to wherever. It's a PDF from the NHTSA that tells you exactly how to create the VIN numbers, which portions are part of you being the manufacturer, what's make, model, the checksum, all the different information. So I looked at that. That's actually cool, because the reason I was looking into it is because it is a requirement to register a vehicle in most states is to have a VIN number. So I was looking at what the possibilities of making it road legal were as far as that goes. Other than that, let's see. Oh, I updated the Wikipedia article for WIKISPEED, which I didn't even know existed. It doesn't have a lot of information, but the last post was referencing that the last update was that the engine module or the cars were not working. So I added the information that basically a few weeks later, after that last blog was posted, that the engine modules are working again, and prototypes are being shipped. For next week, I'm probably going to go ahead and order the angle aluminum to test out the theory there, to bolt that together with angles. I have a particular block on that, but I'll get to that in a second. I want to clean out the. I worked on this last week. I never mentioned it, but I want to clean out the rest of the OwnCloud folder for testing. There's another member of the team that's interested in testing it out, so I wanted to clean out what was in there so we can verify if it's a size issue by uploading a really large file to it, and then contacting GoDaddy accordingly. It's somebody that's been interested in pairing up with me for at least a month that I haven't had time to get back to that task. Oh, and I want to take the chassis CAD that we have of some version. The weld together version is fine, but I want to get that on the website homepage. It exists in a blog post now, but I want to move that over. It shouldn't take a lot of work, and I think there would be value there. My blocks would be, and I feel bad because I know Joe spent time to tell me this before, and I did write it down. It didn't get saved, or I typed it in anyway. But the bolt specifications that we're using right now, so I can make all the drill holes and order the bolts accordingly. Also, the angle plates that I've designed in FreeCAD, then after watching a lot of these videos, I realized that they look very similar to the angle plates used on certain versions of the suspension and the pedal plate. So I'd be interested to know a little more about the thickness and the specifications, and I'm sure the CAD already exists. It doesn't take more than a few seconds to throw it together either way, but I think I can use something that already exists in the WIKISPEED design instead of using from scratch design. And you probably won't have time for this, Joe, but I just had a quick question, something I did not remember that I've heard you tell me before. What are the 3 events that come outside of a sprint? So there's a spike, and there's 2 others, and I don't want to say that one of the others is refactoring, maybe, but I'm not sure. But anyway, I have a question about that. And retrospective for me would be 4 for
Rex,
me.
it seems like we got some feedback as soon as you joined. You may want to mute, and we'll take turns muting. Good to see you, Rex.
Okay. Yeah.
Please do. If you wouldn't mind muting for a moment, and then
Okay.
pitch in with the stand-up after this. Chris, you were saying?
Sorry about that. Yeah, so I think I covered the blocks. Or I hope they were clear enough to understand. So retrospective for me, I would go like a 4 for me, and I think I got relevant stuff done, but I've got so many different things on my plate right now that I think I'm dropping the ball on proper product owner planning of my own life. That I'm starting to fall back into old habits of trying to multitask and do all the things that are not productive, instead of sitting down and taking the time to look at the next maybe 4 months and plan appropriately. So that's something I need to work on. That would be my personal retrospective. Definitely a 10 for the team. I've thrown some questions at the team this week about some of the things I'm doing, and they've come back with amazing answers that I knew nothing about and would never have thought of on my own. That I mean, just make it so easy to try anything. I would say for process improvement, I don't know that this is something that could even be pulled off in a week. Maybe it could, but sort of a brief welcome to the team booklet summary, something probably mostly compiled from other existing sources that kind of covers mostly the project management style and the basics of the modules, so we can quickly onboard a team member. So kind of what I'm saying with the processes improvement is maybe with this can define our most essential base processes, so we even have something to improve. And that would be it for me.
Awesome. Learn, you'll be next, but I want to see if I can jump on to some of Chris's questions right now in line. Chris, so you'd asked questions about gusset thickness and also bolt sizing. both of those things should be super visible to anybody so that they can make and hack on the project, and they're not. So the opportunity for me is to make a web page of, sorry, my baby daughter is fussing at dinner, is to make a web page of frequently asked questions, that type of thing, or basic measurements. I'll say them right now in stand-up, which will be recorded, which is good, but really putting them somewhere on the site that's easy to reference is a good idea. So the chassis originally was made all 3/8 inch diameter bolts, grade 8, 24 thread. Everything was made using those bolts as the standard. Chassis number 7 and 8 are prototyping all metric. They're 10 millimeter bolts, and they're the top metric grade. I'm trying to remember what that is off the top of my head. Well, top is relative. The top readily available one, I think it's called 11.2. And medium thread, gosh, I think it's 1.5. I don't know that off the top of my head. I'll have to reference it. But those are prototypes, and it's not yet the version of record.
Coarse thread is 1.5 for a 10 millimeter, and fine thread is 1.25.
All right, I missed it, Chris.
Oh, coarse thread.
I'm sorry, what?
Coarse thread is 1.5, and fine thread is 1.25 for a 10 millimeter metric. I just looked this up to see if that was right.
Okay, then I'm gonna bet it's 1.25. Although companies will sometimes say things like extra fine and all kinds of stuff.
If you're going for the same thing as a 3/8 24 thread, that's a fine thread, so it's probably 1.25. Fine,
I think
it's
so.
fine thread.
That'd be the bolt. The gussets then are 3/4 of an inch thick, and they're 6061 T6 aluminum, just like every load bearing part of the chassis, everything except the crush structures. And yeah, they're 3/8 inch thick, and they're made out of 6 inch by 6 inch aluminum angle extrusion, which is a stock extrusion, making it very inexpensive and readily available across most of the world, which is nice. So those are those two parts that you asked about.
Can I throw one interjection real quick, because I was curious about not the bolt together gussets, but the angle plates used on the suspension and the pedal plate. Are those also 3/8?
That is what I just referenced.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay. I think I misunderstood. Awesome. Thank you.
I don't know what those gussets are. You just invented them, so
okay.
So I don't know what they are. But the angle used on the chassis right now, so the top of the previous suspension module, etc., they're 3/8 inch 6061 T6 aluminum 6x6 angle, and they're called, what is it? Not architectural angle. The other one. They have a rounded edge, so they're even thicker at the web joint. Okay, that's what I got there. Lauren, would you like to go next? Lauren, you are muted. If you are talking, I cannot hear you.
All right. Sorry, it didn't take. Can you hear me now? Yeah, okay. All right, so I've been doing very little, as you know, so I'm kind of not applicable for retrospective, or for, not retrospective, but just for the stand-up. But I did look at Chris's bolt together, and I not knowing how to weld yet, I like that. It reminds me a little bit of when I was about 8. I went to the fair in Toronto. It's called the Canadian National Exposition. And what impressed me the most, and WIKISPEED keeps reminding me of it, was a team from the Army who put together a Jeep from parts in, like, it was 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and they were timed. And that, like, they had these bars that they lifted the engine with, and they dropped the engine in, and then they bolted. But it appeared they bolted everything in. That was the way they could do it. So I'm wondering then if some of your build parties could be faster. So that's an aside, but yeah. Okay, so yeah, so that's one thing that I did do, and so that's the stand-up, and the retrospective is not applicable, and the coming week, I'm hoping to get some of my blocks out of the way. The blocks happen to be the Canadian election I'm involved in, trying to get rid of a certain person here who's the leader of Canada. And that will be over on the 19th. And I also may be traveling to Seattle Airport, so I have a kind of vision of maybe, and so I have a question for you about the finishing that business about the charitable status.
Yeah, Lauren, I'd love a to-do list of what's remaining to file as the federally recognized not-for-profit. Because I think I can. I might have the financial data that was a block before. I may have it. So I'd like to see if you have it. Could be produced in anytime the next week. I might be able to fill it in. I appreciate it.
It's just one page on the form.
Great. If you could send it to me to remind me, I'd love it.
And don't worry that there's like 20 categories, because probably 15 of them are not used.
Great. Maybe you can even point me to which category is most relevant.
Yeah.
Perfect. If you're able to send that to me in the next week, that'd be actually a huge boost.
Okay.
Is there anything else you'd like to point yourself towards the next week? Don't overwork. This is supposed to be fun.
Yeah. I think I just want to get up to speed. I'm very interested in the Carrick slash the Uber Hangout, the Super Hangout idea that when you're working, you could, see if anybody's else is working and open up a channel to the person who's working in a passive kind of way, in a non-active kind of way.
Okay. Awesome. Anything else you'd like to add, Lauren? And it's good to hear your voice and see you.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Perfect. Excellent. Rex, if you have anything you'd like to add, like a stand-up, anything you did that was WIKISPEED related since your last stand-up, anything that you might do WIKISPEED related in the next week before next Thursday, and any blocks, anything slowing you down or preventing the team from doing super awesome that we should know about and swarm on, that'd be awesome. If you'd like to add anything in any of those categories, now would be the best time.
Okay, first I had to figure out how to unmute myself. Can you hear me now? All right. Hey, I am joining on pure curiosity. Just wanted to see how this worked and what you guys did and how your process. I brought a friend a couple weeks ago to the shop there from Huntington Beach, California, and he really liked cars. I didn't know he was like a total enthusiast. And so he was looking at the whole suspension and everything, and I was curious. So my goal is to like get him to join this call and maybe get on the list, because I joined the group, so now I'm getting all the email, and so I'm just kind of peeking in on all the discussion, which is fine. Emails are easy to sort. They can organize. Yeah, I'm not, I don't know. I'm an engineer at Boeing, and my goal is to spread the word. I am more of a promoter about cool things. And so I just want to spread the word about your work. I want to take people to visit the shop. So that's kind of my interest. I'm not really a car guy. I'm more of an idea guy. Like to connect with cool things. I happen to be going to the Lean Startup Conference in San Francisco in November. So if you heard of the Lean Startup, that's Eric Ries and the Lean Startup method. Really cool stuff about experimentation and all So maybe I can bring back some stuff from that. I don't know.
Awesome. And Rex, we're having a car build and a class on October 29th and 30th here at the shop. And the shop is in the midst of a remodel right now. I was just there, and it's all new drywall and heat pumps. And well, gosh, it's starting to look like a modern office building, which is maybe a little too nice for us building cars. But anyway, if you have any interest in stopping by that Thursday, the 29th, after the class day one is the open build party that Team WIKISPEED always has. And it would be super fun to have you get hands-on with me and the class to produce one of the car modules. If you happen to be able to make that evening available, I'd love to cheers a beer with you and build a car part. So please mark it on your calendar and see if it's practical. That's October 29th and 30th.
Okay. Okay, it's the 29th, the Thursday then?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it'd be great. Maybe I can bring some Boeing friends and see if we can join the party.
Well, I'd love it if you can. And you're invited to bring beer. You don't have to. Nothing's required. We have plenty, but we never mind more. Okay, is there anyone on the call with a stand-up who has not yet given it? Perfect. Now here's where we, as a team, as whoever was able to dial in, decide on a process improvement in order to be happier and faster than we were last week, last Thursday. I have proposed emailing the sticky notes backlog from the WIKISPEED Linwood, Washington, United States shop to the team list. I'd like to see if there are refinements to that proposal or any other proposals that we should consider.
I should probably do the same thing from the Texas shop. So that would be my only refinement.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so from two of the shops represented on this call are saying that they wouldn't mind trying. Any counter proposals? Okay, then we have a proposal. There's not a need to 5-5 vote or virtual dot vote. That's it. That's our goal. So I will then take on the part that I can, which is I'll not leave the shop tonight unless something horribly goes wrong, like it burns down. But my intent is to not leave the shop tonight until I've uploaded a picture of the backlog that's close enough to be legible, or it should be, from the WIKISPEED Linwood, Washington shop and sent it to the team list. I'll see if I can also get it on Facebook too, just to blast it out, the WIKISPEED Facebook channel. Chris, would you mind trying to do the same?
No, it sounds perfect. If I can't make it to the shop, I think the most recent picture is recent enough. So.
Awesome. Love it. Okay. Folks, that concludes everything we need to do to run this company for another week. We have planning across the folks who are able to participate, and we have a process improvement to be faster and happier, and we've shared current state demo across 2 countries and 2 states. So not bad. Not a bad use of 30 minutes. That means we open up the call now for crosstalk. Is there any general conversation anyone would like to have before we release everybody to go about our Thursday nights? In my case, go down the shop and build stuff.
If you have a... oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Rex.
No, I just... a couple of apps I've been playing with that might be of interest. If you guys have heard of Periscope, it's a live broadcasting, live video stream that you can, it's very easy to broadcast live, and then people can comment on stuff, and so you can interact at a certain level with hundreds of people, or however many show up, and then you can save those on a separate site. Anyway, it's an interesting thing. Another one is blab.im. So this is you can do video conferencing, but it's limited, just like Periscope. The idea is, like Twitter and these other apps, like an app that doesn't do everything, it does certain specific things. So it's really good. So you can have a video call, but it limits it to 4 people. you can have 4 people on, and then a whole bunch of other people like watching and commenting, and then people can jump off, and then other people get on one of the spots. So people use it for like interviews or having some kind of a chat and whatnot. But I don't know if it's better or whatever. Just some new stuff that might be interesting to experiment with.
Thanks for that. I will attempt to play with both of those in the next week. I may even have the time, which would be nice. I've just come off a really busy week, but the next week is not so busy, so I might be able to. Thank you, Rex. And then, Chris, it sounded like you have something you wanted to add as well.
Sorry, it's so close, so slow to click all the buttons. I just real quick wanted to. I think I put it out earlier. I don't know if you have time to answer this or if you even want to, but the 3 events outside that fall outside of a sprint.
Oh, sure, yeah. So there's 5 events, ceremonies, or meetings altogether. If this is what you meant, let me know if I'm missing the boat here. Okay. But the first one, chronologically, is sprint planning. Then the second one would be daily stand-up, capped at 15 minutes. The third one, chronologically, is our product backlog refinement, also called story elaboration, also called backlog grooming. That one's the one that's often called an activity. It happens during the sprint, but it's called an activity in a lot of books because there's no set time. Most teams do it halfway through the sprint, but the Scrum guide says exactly when all the 4 other ceremonies are. Sprint planning, or backlog refinement, it just says do it, and it doesn't say when. So some folks call it an activity to differentiate it, but anyway, that's the third one typically in chronological order. Then back to hard and fast, we know exactly when it happens. End of the sprint, sprint demo, and immediately followed by retrospective. Those are the 5 in order. Is that what you meant, Chris, or did I miss the boat? Was I talking about something else?
So no, that actually was a perfect, just fastest description of Scrum I've ever heard. I was specifically asking about the spike, maybe refactoring, and something else. Right. I think there may be three special. Okay,
special story types. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. So a spike, a tracer bullet, and a research story.
That's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I couldn't remember that to save my life, Chef.
Oh, well, good thing your life didn't depend on it. That would be a pretty lame reason to end. Yeah.
What are those things?
Spike, tracer bullet, and research story. Okay.
Yeah. So those are all 3 special story types to learn more about something. A spike is meant to be a prototype that's intentionally thrown away, and that's announced to everybody by calling it a spike so that folks aren't planning to build on what's being built. They're not trying to make it elegant or scalable or affordable. They're just trying to learn. So it would be, can we even fit these types of tires on? Let's just mock up the suspension out of wood. So that would be a spike. In software, can we do this with HTML5? I don't know, let's make a quick and dirty sandbox and test, right? And so it's not meant to be reused. A tracer bullet is the same thing, but meant to be reused. So it is elegant, and it intentionally goes top to bottom through every layer. So in software, it would be, can we do this in HTML5? Well, let's make a tracer bullet. So it would meet elegant code standards. It would have a little piece of user interface, a little piece of business logic, a little piece of database, a little piece of database processing, and a little piece of web service to talk to something else. It'd be a complete shot, tracer bullet, a shot that goes through the entire stack. In hardware, same thing. It would use, in our case, it would use all our primary materials: polycarbonate, aluminum, carbon fiber, DOT glass. I missed one. And the other one that I can't think of right now. So it would use all of those. It would go through the entire stack. That would be a tracer bullet. And it is meant to be reused. Then a research story is when we don't know enough to estimate. Someone comes with a great idea. We should use hydrogen-powered engines. And we all agree, yeah, we should. That would be awesome. Can we make one? Well, let's put a research story in the backlog to say, let's learn more about hydrogen motor creation to see how long it would take us to create a hydrogen-powered engine module, because we can't even estimate that right now. Or in software, same thing. I don't know. Can we use Node.js for this? I don't know. Let's research Node.js. I'll start a book club. We can answer this by next sprint. and that type of thing. Those are our 3 special story types. They're called special story types because they're not directly creating value except the tracer bullet. But even the tracer bullet, its primary delivery is to learn about the full stack, so it's to answer a question. Whereas every other type of story is to make money or impact our grantees if we're a nonprofit. And these don't directly have revenue associated with them most of the time.
Okay, cool.
That was awesome.
I got excited. Rock, Lauren, anything you wanted to add? I think it's awesome you dialed in. Thanks so much, my friend. I haven't seen you in too long. Dial in all the time that you can.
Thanks. I missed it.
Yeah. It's great to bump into you anytime you can. It's appreciated.
Yeah. Well, I'm really interested in the sometime getting to a build thing. I'll target the 29th. I'm close enough, and I may be passing through on the way to California or Arizona, so I'll try and plan it around that.
Text or email anytime. And that class, October 29th and 30th, I don't know how you'd get away for 2 full days, 9 to 5, but if you could, I'd smuggle you into that class. I'd find a way to make it justifiable to Scrum Inc.
worth it.
So
Cool.
let me know if somehow that could happen. We'll try to figure it out. Your contributions to the team would make it worth it. I'm sure I could justify it somehow to the company.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Folks, I'm going to finish my dinner and get to the shop because if I don't build anything, it doesn't make much of a team.
See you later.
Guys, I think you're awesome. Text me or email me if you need anything else, or best to email the whole team so everybody can weigh in. Thanks, everybody. Good to talk to you. Take care.
Yeah, thanks a lot. That was fun.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah,
Bye.
thanks.